I want to talk to you about how FIFO rotation ensures actually product freshness. Of course, we are speaking about first in, first out. And so here are the hard facts I want you to really pay attention to. When you think about first in, first out, I want you to think about an inventory evaluation method that allows you to actually be in line with accounting procedures, but also optimize your inventory overall. Okay. So if you sell, let's say if you sell perishable products like food or cosmetics, you will need to use the FIFO inventory management system. And so into this conversation, I want to dig a little deeper into FIFO stock rotation. Okay. Now, one thing for sure, the principles of first in, first out stock rotation are kind of similar to what you have seen in other areas when it comes to stock replenishment. And those concepts are likely familiar to you at home, whether you prioritize cooking with last week's groceries before eating the produce you just loaded into the fridge, right? Or use up a half full bottle of shampoo before cracking open a new one. So those are things that we all do reflexively. And so the principles of FIFO are also critical for anyone operating a business that relies on perishable products that have a limited shelf life. And so let me first define for you what FIFO really is, so you have a clear idea the kind of foundation I want this conversation to be about. Okay, so first in, first out stock rotation is actually an inventory management and accounting method that's based on the principle that the first items added to your inventory should be the first ones to be sold or used. Let me repeat that. Basically, the first items added to inventory should be the first ones to be sold or used in the FIFO. Sorry about that. In the FIFO ecosystem. Okay, so this strategy is particularly important in industries such as food and skincare that actually sell perishable products. You do not want the FDA to knock on your door and actually start creating issues and to start filing lawsuits. And so, for example, let's say your e-commerce skincare company sells a face mask made with natural ingredients that expire after a year. If you start shipping out inventory you received a week ago, before you've gone through the inventory you've had for months, the older products may expire in your warehouse before you are able to get them to customers, leading to losses. This is even more important for food establishments, as abiding by expiration dates helps ensure food safety and food hygiene standards. Okay, so even businesses that don't sell perishable goods can benefit from the first in, first out method. FIFO can help you more accurately measure the value of your inventory and calculate your cost of goods sold. Let me quickly talk to you about the benefits of FIFO this year. Now, there are two main benefits of implementing FIFO. First of all, you ensure product freshness, and number two, you improve inventory valuation. Let me explain. I want to first talk about product freshness, and then I'll go on to inventory valuation. What is it with product freshness? Well, the most obvious benefits of implementing the FIFO method of stock rotation is that it ensures product freshness, good freshness. This is a critical factor, especially in industries, I've said this before, in industries where products have a limited shelf life or expiration date. So you have cosmetics, you have food, you have other, so it's important. So this method this method actually ensures that the oldest inventory is sold first, reducing the risk of products becoming obsolete, spoiled, or expired, improving reliability and customer satisfaction, and also regulatory compliance, right? FIFO stock rotation also ensures that products that are either seasonal or that become obsolete quickly are on shelves in time. So besides product freshness, you also have inventory valuation. So the FIFO inventory valuation method can help track your cost of goods sold, your COGS, the direct cost incurred in producing the goods you sell during a specific period. It can be 6 months, 3 months, it can be 1 year. It's usually 1 year. So COGS can include the cost of buying raw materials, labor, and other production costs. An accurate understanding of your COGS is necessary to calculate gross profit. So gross profit equals what? Revenue minus cost of goods sold. I'm sure I'm putting this on the screen here. Since costs fluctuate with time, FIFO helps match the COGS of a specific batch or a shipment with its corresponding revenue. This is especially important during times of increased inflation when COGS changes more rapidly. So let me talk to you about the method here. How do you calculate cost of goods sold using FIFO? How do you really get to the bottom of things? I will put this on the screen so it's pretty clear to you. Okay. You can also use one thing for sure. When I speak about inventory valuation, you can also use LIFO. You can also use average waiting cost. LIFO stands for last in, first out. Okay, and in today's conversation, we're focusing on FIFO. Okay, when it comes to calculating COGS. Okay, depending on your accounting priorities, you might choose LIFO or weighted average. So to calculate your business's cost of goods sold using the FIFO inventory valuation method, you want to take the purchase price of your oldest batch of inventory and multiply it by the number of units of inventory sold from this same batch of goods. Let me explain here. Basically, the purchase price, and again, I'm putting the formula on the screen here. So, cost of goods sold equals purchase price per unit times unit of inventory sold. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. You want to take the purchase price of your oldest batch of inventory and multiply it by the number of units of inventory sold from this same batch of goods. So if the inventory cost increases or decreases, you must calculate the cost of goods sold for that batch separately and factor that into your inventory accounting. Let me give you an example so I can illustrate this perfectly. Let's say you purchased 100 units of inventory at $5 each, and then later purchased another 100 units at $6 each. You will need to account for the price fluctuation in your calculation. So if you are using the FIFO method and have sold, let's say, 150 units in total, you can use the $5 purchase price for the first 100 units sold and multiply the remaining inventory, in other words, 50 units, by the $6 purchase price. So for 150 units, your cost of goods sold will be 800. How did I get the 800? I'm putting this on the screen so you have a clear idea. So you have 5 times 100 plus 6 times 50. So, but remember though, you can also use other inventory valuation methods such as LIFO and weighted average to actually value your inventory. So how do you implement FIFO this year? If you're thinking about first in, first out stock rotation, you have to really have a clear idea about how to implement FIFO big time. Now, there are 4 ways you can, there is a 4-step process for you to really implement FIFO in an optimal manner. So you want to organize your inventory system. You want to train your staff on FIFO principles. You want to create a FIFO schedule and action plan. And you want to handle exceptions and challenges. Let me first talk to you about the first 2. Let me talk to you about the first 2, and then I'll speak about the last 2 later on. So organize your inventory system. So one thing for sure, implementing FIFO requires solid organization systems and collaboration throughout your business, especially when it comes to organization. So when I speak about organizing your inventory system, it means you are actually making accountable all the key people, all the key staff within your supply chain. So whether you implement FIFO manually or with the help of an inventory management software tool, you need to organize your inventory, sort and label your inventory by purchase dates, and consider positioning older items at the front of shelves for convenient access. It's all about access. It's all about efficiency. You also want to train your staff on FIFO principles. Your staff members are not accounting experts or may not be accounting experts. They have their expertise, they have their skill set, but accounting may not be one of those. So you want to train them, okay? To successfully use the FIFO method, you will need the cooperation of your staff, not just their knowledge, but also their buy-in, their cooperation. If they do not want to cooperate, the whole effort is going to be a failure. So make sure your employees understand the importance of using older items first, especially if they are food workers or if the products you sell have perishable ingredients. Next, you want to create a FIFO schedule and action plan. It's one of those things where if you're trying to really instill a certain layer of a FIFO stock rotation program, you got to have a method. You got to do things methodically, okay? And so you got to have a certain schedule and action plan. Let me explain. To ensure you continue to adhere to the FIFO method after its initial implementation, develop a schedule for regular inventory checks and set guidelines for effectively restocking shelves and rotating inventory. Remember, we're doing all these things because you want to rotate inventory, okay? And you want to seek feedback from staff and make adjustments as needed. That's why you wanted to get your staff's buy-in in the first place, because they will be the one providing feedback to you, telling you what's working and what's not working, so you can take corrective actions. The last thing you want to do here is to handle exceptions and challenges in a methodical way. So, as beneficial as the FIFO method can be, almost every business will face situations in which they must make exceptions, such as when inventory or raw materials are damaged. I mean, there is no perfect program. There is no perfect program when it comes to inventory management. So this is actually a journey of trials and errors. Okay, so this is important to keep that in mind because you'll be having some exceptions to handle. So if your business allows for special orders such as custom or expedited products, they likely need to be handled separately outside of the FIFO system. So it's really crucial at that point to prepare contingencies and protocols for likely scenarios so production is not really disrupted when these exceptions occur, right? So this happened, you saw it during COVID, for instance. So in all special cases, communication and documentation are really, really key, especially if you are thinking about supplier relationship management. You want to cultivate a tighter and deeper bond with your suppliers, with your vendors, with your distributors, okay? Make sure employees also are trained to recognize and handle exceptions and maintain detailed records of any exceptions, including how they were resolved in the first place. Let me talk to you about the challenges here. So when you think about FIFO, of course, FIFO stock rotation has a lot of benefits, that's for sure, but it also has challenges. Let's talk quickly about those challenges. Basically, it's one of those things where the challenges will depend on the industry you're in, will depend on your in-house organization, the depth and breadth of your supply chain, the complexity of your supply chain, and also the existing relationship you have with suppliers in the first place, okay? So implementing FIFO inventory management, while beneficial for product freshness and accurate cost calculations, presents some challenges that you need to be aware of. First of all, maintaining precise inventory records for each item's entry date can be labor intensive and error prone, especially if you don't have the proper staff or you don't have enough staff, okay? Let's say another challenge is that you have variability in product shelf lives, inconsistent supplier deliveries, and storage space constraints can also complicate the strict application of FIFO. So you have a lot of challenges, okay? Variability in product shelf lives, inconsistent supplier deliveries, storage space constraints, and also the let's say management vision. You may also need to make exceptions for damaged goods or special orders, and this will happen. I mean, it's one of those things where if you are in a very competitive industry, you will have those. So it can help to create carefully defined protocols to avoid disrupting the FIFO system in special situations, in special Yeah, in special circumstances. Another drawback of the FIFO inventory valuation method that you need to be aware of this year is that it has a potential. It has potential actually, so it can potentially. That's better English. It can potentially inflate profits during periods of high inflation. So when the lower cost of older inventory is counted first, it can create a distorted view of your net income and inventory levels. And so this is important to think about. And so this is not only confusing for internal financial statements, but if it looks like your income is higher than it is, you may have to pay correspondingly higher income taxes. So question is, do you want to go that route? Yes or no? So let me give you, before I close to this conversation, some stuff that's really good to know. It's important to understand that basically FIFO can impact inventory turnover and carrying cost in a methodical way. Okay, FIFO increases the inventory turnover by prioritizing older items for sale, reducing holding time. It can lower carrying cost as products move faster and decrease storage expenses and potential obsolescence cost. Now, are there any legal or regulatory requirements related to FIFO stock rotation? It really depends. In sectors like food and pharmaceuticals, FIFO stock rotation is mandated to ensure product freshness and food safety. So you have a lot of government agencies at the state and federal level paying attention to making sure that FIFO is actually the major accounting rule here. So the FDA, for instance, is actually pretty adamant at making sure that pharmaceutical companies actually use the FIFO all the time. And so you can also apply FIFO to non-perishable products. I mean, while the FIFO method is especially important for managing an inventory of perishable products, it can benefit all types of products because it can help businesses more accurately make inventory valuations. Okay, now inventory management software can really help you also when it comes to automating FIFO by, for instance, tracking product arrival dates and linking them to sales. In other words, you have a clear idea of what's in and what's out of your stock. And also, inventory management software can ensure accurate stock rotation, can reduce manual errors, and also provide real-time insights from over time. And now there are a lot of products that can benefit from FIFO stock rotation. In addition to, let's say, health and cosmetics and food, anything that is perishable, anything perishable, you want to really like perishable in terms of, let's say, if you have chemical substances, for instance, you can benefit. You can use the FIFO inventory management system to make sure that you are optimizing the inventory because selling the oldest inventory in that case first increases the chance that items are sold before their expiration date and that customers reliably receive fresh, high quality products. So here are the closing remarks here. In today's conversation, I spoke to you about how FIFO stock rotation ensures product freshness. I give you the hard facts, the method, the challenges, and what's really good to know when it comes to that topic. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.